You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Man, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your family. Hey there, it's Marty, Brian's podcast producer, and on behalf of Brian, Liz, and the entire Fullerton Unfiltered team, we just want to express thankfulness for you. The fact that you listen and interact with us on social media and attend live events, it really does mean a lot. And before diving into today's episode with Ezra McCarthy on how to utilize Google reviews to grow your business, let me give you the coupon code that's going to save you 25% site-wide at launchpreneuracademy.com. And this savings goes on right through Monday at midnight. Simply use the word holidays. That's right, use holidays at checkout to save 25%. And if the whole ball of wax has caught your attention, that of course is everything on the website plus future upgrades and additions, then plug in the code SAVE400. SAVE400, and we're going to take $400 right off the price. See you at launchpreneuracademy.com for the best deals of the year. And to make it easy for you, I'm going to drop all these details into the show description. Right now, let's enjoy learning how Ezra McCarthy gained over 85 star reviews in just under a year on today's edition of Fullerton Unfiltered.
I wanted to get the snow, but like at the same point, we still got leaf cleanups left to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh wow,
yeah. We still got $5 to $7 grand easily in leaves that we can make in a week, and I want to button that up. So I'm kind of grateful that we didn't get the 1 to 3 inches they were saying, but I also don't mind making the snow money too. Like we'll make money in either form of misery for the outdoors, you know. So leaves or snow, but we did end up going out and it was a salt run the other morning. It was about a half inch of snow on the ground, but beyond that, nothing too crazy. So you guys probably don't get any snow down there, significant snow down there in Texas, do you?
Oh no, but I grew up in Ontario.
Oh, okay.
Right by Michigan.
Yeah. So you're used to it.
About an hour and a half from Sarnia, if you're familiar with that is. That's on the other side of the border. But
okay. Well, you probably get similar conditions that we do over here in Michigan. Then pretty similar.
Yeah, and I went to college in Illinois. Right up. I don't know if you know the Quad Cities are.
Yeah.
In Iowa, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to college there, and so I did some snow plowing there. So I'm all too familiar.
Yeah,
with all-nighters.
Do you miss it? Did you like it, or are you glad to be Texas and not see it ever again?
It's I don't know. I don't think I really miss it, but I miss the people up north. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a different world. But.
Yeah, I've got buddies down in Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, and then a bunch of friends, Tampa, Clearwater area now, and they're like, dude, you're missing out. Like, you need to come here. It's 48 weeks of mowing. It's no snow. I don't know. I was joking with Liz on a previous podcast. I said the difference though is like I don't have to deal with crazy snakes, crazy spiders, scorpions, hurricanes, like alligators, crocodiles. I'm like, I don't know, black widows, different crazy poisonous snakes. All that stuff is more prevalent down south and southeast, man. Arizona, Texas, Florida. I don't know. But I digress. But well, dude, are you ready to jump on into it?
Yeah. Is this? I'm on the AirPods. Are the audio quality okay on these?
Yeah, you sound great, bud.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
So yep, I'm good whenever you are.
All right, cool. Well, we'll jump. We'll just keep it going, man. So it's Ezra McCarthy, right? Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah.
There you go. Awesome, man. We'll give these guys a quick, highlight reel about your background, who you are. Give them like a 1 or 2 minute, and we'll just kind of break some things down.
Sure. We've been here in Texas for about 2 years, and that's approximately when I started the lawn care company. Before that, we were doing I was doing contracting, mostly painting. And when we moved, we kind of had to restart and where it was.
Okay.
Ended up going into the lawn care in college. I had done it with a friend of mine. and I really enjoyed it. So I figured it was a good time to give it a whirl. Actually, the church where I'm actually a pastor, and so the church where I pastored, they had someone doing their lawn care. They weren't doing that great of a job, and I at first just thought to myself, hey, with that cost, I can buy myself a trailer and a trailer and a mower for the payments of that, and I could just do one or two lawns and pay for it. Well, then it kind of grew, and it kind of morphed into its own creature. So that's kind of what I have been doing then.
Yeah. How old are you now, by the way?
27.
27. Okay, so you were in Ontario. Then you guys had a painting business, and then you moved to Texas. Help me out a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, I went to high school in Kentucky. Then I went to college in Illinois. Then after college, we were in Idaho. And so we were there for a couple of years. And then now we're in Texas. So in Texas, that after college, that's when I had the painting business. And that I actually still do some of that when it's slow. And that worked out really good.
Wow.
But just the area we moved to isn't quite as high end here. And so it was just the market was very different. But mowing it was perfect for mowing.
Wow.
I was amazed how quickly I was able to get customers and business.
Okay. Did you have like a military family or something? Like what made you guys travel around or move so much, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, no, it just, actually, though, they still live in Ontario. There was a boarding school I went to in high school, and then I went to college. And then, anyway, this is a long story.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it is neat though. People that get to move around. I always I love hearing the stories because you've seen 5 or 6 different regions, 5 or 6 different markets. You know, like you were just saying, you get to see like what works, what's not working. You know, and so that's really cool. So then you started the lawn care and landscaping business. Now you were a pastoring at a church. Were you like an associate pastor or the head pastor, and then you got into mowing? Break that down for me a little bit more.
Well, actually, I still am.
Oh, okay.
So it does make it it changes the goals a little bit. I'm not necessarily trying to make it's decent size right now. I mean, I guess since I look at it, but I'm not trying to make, $1 million business. It's intentionally keeping it smaller. That way it's manageable.
Sure.
And so it's a smaller church, but I am the pastor. Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha. So explain the business a little bit for me, because you had reached out via email. And we messaged and stuff back and forth on social, but on email you said, hey, I'd love to get on the show if you think it's cool. I have 81 reviews, and 80 plus of them are 5-star, or 80 of them, I should say, are 5-star. That's actually something I'm actively working on. Literally, that is on my to-do list. It's funny how this came full circle. On my, I have like a daily to-do list of things that I want to accomplish. And I have been updating my Google business page. We have our new website. And I'm basically going individually emailing and making it as personalized as possible to each customer that we've done work for this year to get more reviews and more 5-star reviews. And I've already tested the waters. There's like the link that you can send to your customer, and it's like a direct link to your page to just get a review page and try to get those reviews. So that's something I'm doing to kind of better my business, during the winter and the off season here. Mm-hmm. So you're the guru here. You got 80 plus 5-star reviews, 81 reviews in total in less than 2 years. So talk to me a little bit about that, because that could help a lot of people out with those reviews.
Yes. And first of all, I'd like to notice how important they are. I've read different stats, different places, but when you're doing SEO or search engine optimization, one of the important things is they call it organic ranking. It's when you don't pay to be listed higher in the search results, whether that be web or on Google Maps, which is the predominant search engine. Mm-hmm. And the ranking, a lot of that has to do with a large factor, I should say, that goes into that is your Google reviews. So if you have more of them, more recent and positive ones, then you're going to be ranked significantly higher. And especially important is they call it the Google Map Pack. And what that is when you search on Safari or even Maps, but specifically Safari, there'll be usually, like, I think they call it the local ads, where basically Google is selling leads, and then there'll be 1 or 2 ads, and then there'll be a map. And on that map, there'll be one ad, maybe 2, and then 3 normally businesses that are organically listed. So the goal, if you're really working on it, or for people that are, is to be listed at the top of that map pack, because that's organic, that's not non-paid, and normally in most markets, it is fairly easy to get to the top of that. And how I say that is, when I moved here to Greenville, it took me, I think, approximately 3 months to get to the top of that map pack by getting those consistent Google reviews, because I think locally, the most someone has, and I basically stay in my town of like 30,000, is I think maybe 22 or 24. And so I just hammered it at the beginning, just consistently asking the customers.
How did you know? Well, if you don't mind me interrupting, well, how did you know that that they were important? Or like, what made you focus on that with your new business? Because a lot of people focus on equipment, they focus on marketing, of course, that's great. But you went like straight for like I would say one of the silver bullets in your SEO and your marketing, which is Google reviews. I mean, that's the ultimate social proof.
For sure, and it goes back to when I had done the painting business. I started that, and I used a certain lead service, and at that time, it's probably more now. You pay you paid around $300 to sign up, and then per lead you would pay. Back then, the cheapest lead was $18. That was for like a super, super small handyman job. And half of the dumb leads were just no one would answer the phone. I don't even know if they were real. I don't know.
Sure.
And you try to get a refund and it wouldn't work. So after several times of that, and then you're all stressed because you're adding up a bill with no work because the leads are junk. And this was for the painting. And I realized, man, I've got to do something different. This is awful. And the problem with that platform is, unless you pay that yearly fee, on that platform, I had 30-some reviews, and people like that. But when I stopped paying that, your profile was gone. So I don't even remember exactly, but that is when I found the Google My Business, and I realized, man, with the Google profile, you don't have to pay to keep this active. What a blessing. And so I kind of started experimenting with that, and I'll tell you, in that it was an amazing. I have an amazing commercial job for my size painting business. I got like a $25,000 painting job, which in 12 days the profit was over $12,000 for just it was basically $1,000 a day. A great job.
Wow.
And you know what? I don't even think anyone was bidding against me, because she found me on Google. I had the reviews, and at that time, I already learned by realizing, hey, I can get quote unquote free leads because no one else is focusing on this. And so I had that experience already. And so when I did lawns, I realized, hey, this is a great tool if I can get it up and running. And so that's why I focused on it.
Dude, that's awesome. That is really, really cool. And again, I agree. I mean, I don't want to just assume that everybody, listening to the show, is ranking high or trying to work on their reviews every single day with their lawn and landscape company or whatever business that you guys own. If you're listening into the show, of course, we're talking Lawns Lessons Life and lawn and landscaping here, but nonetheless, I mean, think about it. If you guys are looking for quality furniture, you're reviewing apartment complexes to move, or subdivisions nowadays are having like these HOA pages. There, different stores that you go to shop at, different restaurants, of course. I think restaurants are probably the biggest no-brainer with having quality reviews. Liz and I eat out a lot, way too much, and we eat out all the time. But we're always looking at reviews before we try somewhere new. And if you're not pumping, 4.2, 4.5 and above, more than likely, good luck trying to have somebody swing by to eat at your place or to visit your brick and mortar store. There's I'll give you guys a practical example, and this will totally relate to like the painting. Is we're looking at pool companies right now, and my gosh, like either they're not getting enough reviews to offset the 2 or 3 bad apple reviews, or or these companies really just do poor work and it shows up quickly, right? Like, I don't know. But when you look at pool companies, like locally to us, there's literally maybe 10. And they're all like have really, really no disrespect to those pool people, but they all have crummy reviews. And I'm sure like they do decent work, some of them. But this is another quick maybe nugget then. If you guys are having 1 or 2 negative reviews and your company's rating is tanked because you had 2, Karens that left you, 1-star reviews, well, you can offset that by having 80 5-star reviews. And okay, you won't be worth, ranked 5.0, but at least you'll be ranked 4.5 or 4.7, right? So I don't know. Have you found any experience with that? With have you got any negative reviews, or are they all just 5-star? Or how's your process for getting these 5-star reviews, Ezra?
I did have 1 5-star review, and the gentleman was very upset because last spring was so wet. It was literally in my backyard. I had standing water for a couple months.
Wow.
And it's not a swamp. It was bonkers.
Sure.
So this guy, he was upset because I basically canceled on him, and he got angry about that because, anyway, it was a long story. But I ended up texting him and just saying, hey, I'm just so busy. I can't add one more thing to my plate right now. And he ended up deleting it. But here's the thing about, in all likelihood, at some point you're going to get a bad review. The thing is, if you don't ask people for a review, the only people that are going to be motivated to leave one are people that are motivated by being upset. So
that's a great nugget. That's a great nugget, dude. That's a really. But by the way, did he leave a 1-star review? You said 5-star, but maybe he left a 1-star review.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no. I don't remember if it was a 1 or a 2, but it was bad.
Okay,
but it was because I couldn't do his lawn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm like, why did he get? No, that's what I assumed. But okay, that makes sense. But dude,
my apologies.
That's a great nugget, though. Like you said, the people that leave reviews typically, if you're not proactive, that's what we always talk about. You got to be proactive. I love what you said. They're the ones that are leaving the reviews, the negative experiences, not the positive ones. Keep going, man. Talk about that more. I think that's a solid nugget for this podcast.
And another thought, I looked at a company that had been, I heard, and I'm sure it was truthful, have been sold for multi-million-dollar companies. So I always like to look at people's profile just to see. And they had a few locations, and on there, their reviews were awful. They had a couple good ones, mostly bad ones. And I thought to myself, man, how much money? Obviously, it was a successful business, but I thought, how much money are they leaving on the table just by not doing that? So a good process to get reviews is that you want to consistently be asking. Because here's a tidbit. If you send out, say, you never have in the past, and then you send out 20 invites, say 10 of them try to leave a review. Maybe 5 to 7 may actually show up out of those 10 that try.
Sure.
Because here's the thing. If you never have reviews posted and then you have an influx, Google presumes that some of them are fraud, or maybe you're trying to pay people, or something's odd going on. So it will flag them and remove them. This just happened to me, not the sending out a bunch, but I just had Google remove another of my reviews. And it's just,
really?
You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't do anything about it. I've tried emailing and say, hey, I'll email you pictures of the job I did for this customer, because how Google does it is customer can leave a review on their end. It looks just normal, but no one else can see it. So I had a customer send me a screenshot and said, hey, I left your review. And I said, oh, thank you. And I went and looked, wasn't there. And it's super frustrating, but you really can't do anything about it, because even if they delete that and try to do it again, it's not going to show up. So that's just a tidbit. You want to slowly and consistently be asking. And the best time to ask is when you're finished with a job, or when you just talk to them. And just like Brian, you told about, people using reviews for everything. I literally use the example of, hey, I tell people it's like when you're on Amazon, you'd never want to be the guinea pig. I always look at reviews. If there's 10 reviews, I'm just not going to buy the product.
That's a great point.
They need at least 1,000. Depends what it is. But if there's 10, I'm not buying it.
Right.
Now, service-based is a little different. But I tell people just like that, this is going to help other customers like you find me. And even then, with good or trying to have a good presentation, you're not going to have everyone do it. And like I said, sometimes they do it and you don't know. But you just have to consistently ask. And if they didn't do it once, then I ask again. Now, obviously, you have to serve them in such a way that you have that relationship that you're not come across as pestering.
Right.
But you're probably going to have to ask more than once.
Like, I love what you're saying there. So serve them, do a great job, make sure they're genuinely satisfied. I don't spring it as a trap, like, hey, if I do a good job, will you leave us a 5-star review? That's not a good.
Yeah,
that just sounds bad.
That sounds slimy.
Yeah, I agree. I would say after you've had a good month of service, maybe a full mowing schedule, it's going good. Maybe at the end of the season, this time of year is perfect. Like, hey, Bob Smith, hope all is well, via email or phone call or even text. Say, hope all is well. Just wanted to double check and touch base to see if you enjoyed our service this year. If so, we have a campaign to get some great quality feedback on our Google reviews. If you'd be happy to leave us a 5-star review, we would greatly appreciate it. If you're not comfortable leaving us a 5-star review, please give me a call and let me know how we can better service you. I'd love to hear your feedback. Because maybe they're like, hey, this season didn't work out well, but before they post up a 2-star review, say, hey, call me, and I want to rectify or just have that feedback. How did my guys do? How did the crews do? Maybe you haven't touched base with them since 6 months for that landscaping job that you did, and you're trying to go back through some old customers, but some of the brick pavers are already sagging on something that you need to go do a repair job. That's okay. That stuff happens, but you can catch all that before you have them post up. And by the way, Ezra, one other quick nugget you had said is the getting multiple reviews quickly and then Google messing with them. Dude, I've had the same kind of crap happen where I've had 1-star review people, just randos on the internet that just hate my social media, leave negative 1-star reviews on my business. That is beyond frustrating because I have a contact now at Google, and even then it's still very, very difficult to get 1-star reviews removed. I've had probably dozens, if I would say maybe 100 people leave a 5-star review, just anonymous 5-star. And I'm not trying to game the system, but I'm also not opposed to it just because I'm fighting with one hand tied behind my back doing my social media. Like if you leave a 1-star review on the podcast or leave a hey, you're a butthead, comment on YouTube, dude, that's fine. Like I get it. Like you get fair, carte blanche on the internet. You put yourself out there. But what frustrates me is when somebody takes that negativity to my Google review for my actual lawn and landscaping business, and I can't fight back. It's not. I every time I talk to my Google rep, I say, like, dude, it's not fair that people can just anonymously leave a 1-star review and say he's a scammer, and just because somebody's lurking on my content at 2 a.m. because I vote a certain way or I said a certain thing or I believe a certain way. And so if you guys ever want to tap 5-star, God bless you, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, that's why I'm actively trying to boost my 5-star ratings with my current customers, because my rating's like a 4.2, 4.5, maybe, I don't know, 4.7. But I just want to social proof it with another 80 to 100 5-star reviews. And one other quick tip, guys, if you're listening in, if you get a negative review, like, don't just bash the customer back. Like, sometimes it's not what you say back and forth on the internet that gets people to love you. It's how you respond to that person that somebody else is going to stumble upon and look at how you replied, whether or not they're going to fall in love with you. Like for instance, Ezra, you had that person leave you a 1-star. And if you just said, well, your lawn was holding water and it sucked, and then you were a jerk, and we don't take disrespectful people as clients, like, in theory, that sounds good to say, but publicly, if I'm a new homeowner, that moved in and I'm looking for service and I see that's how you treat customers, past or present, good or bad, I'm going to go, dude, this guy's a hot rod. Like, I don't want to deal with that guy. Like, everybody's nice until something goes wrong. Are you still nice when something goes wrong? That's like the true definition of, like, are you still kind? So if you guys get negative reviews or 1-star reviews, don't just set that person on fire, on Instagram or YouTube. Like, don't reply like all, dropping the napalm on them. Like, hey, we apologize. Sorry for your inconvenience. Sorry for the confusion. We're always trying to get better. Please contact us. Leave your email in the comment, and we'd be happy to help figure out this situation. Like, at least you're trying is what you should publicly be looking like. At least you have compassion and empathy and some humility. Like, we don't have it all figured out. So, Ezra, your thoughts? Anything you got on that, man? Because you've been doing this way more than most of us. So,
that's a good thought. The one thing I might change though is I wouldn't wait till the end of the season to ask people.
Sure,
I would, because I don't. You may not. Some people are too busy. There's sometimes that I'll do one-time services, and I don't. If I have time, I don't necessarily look down on those because I try to. I mean, I won't tell a customer that, but I go into a job thinking, okay, how can I serve them so that when I leave, I can ask for a view, if that makes sense.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I go in.
That's awesome.
You have to, in some ways, in the right sense of the word, make it an obsession. Because if you just wait till the end of the season, you're going to get busy. It's not a habit, and like we're talking about, if you send a bunch out randomly and say it's landscaping, the best time to do that is when it's done. If you do a walkthrough, go over the property and say, this is what we've done. And they're happy and they say, man, this is great. Thank you so much. And you say, I'm so glad to be able to serve you. And then you go through the spill about explaining why it matters. It literally takes 5 seconds. You say, hey, can I text you a link right now? Or something like that.
That's huge.
So the point of sale is the best time. Now, obviously, if a recurring service, I mean, after a couple services, sometimes I'll text them the first time or talk to them, and sometimes they don't do it. And then I wait a couple months, and if they haven't left one and the relationship's been good, I'll send them another one.
Yeah. Little nudge.
Yeah. And it seems to work. Obviously, not all the time, but it seemed to work well. And like locally, if you searched on Google, and obviously on Google Maps or on Google, there's, I think, 3 things that play into it. There's prominence. There's, I'm forgetting the word they use, but it's how far away you are from the target, and relevance.
Okay.
So all of these things, other than how far away you are, but relevance and
proximity maybe or something.
Oh yeah, I think it's the right one. But 2 of those have to do with your Google reviews, because prominence or and I forget the words they use. I've written down somewhere, but that affects your ranking, and your relevance are people using you and liking you. So all of these things are giving feedback to feed into the algorithm to show Google that, hey, people like me, people want me, and also the social proof when people come. And one thing I found is it's been a great way to get commercial work, because at least locally here, a lot of the managers are not local. They're like a managing company for the facilities. And so obviously they're not in town. They don't have contacts to say, hey, who do you use? And so they'll literally look up on Google. And so being at the top of the Google Maps is very important, because like, getting to the top of the websites for SEO is almost impossible without paid. The reason why is you've got Thumbtack, you've got Home Advisor, you've got Google Lead Services.
Oh, yeah.
You've got all of these services that are paying bukus. So, I mean, your little website is not going to get to the top. So the best way to do it is through Google reviews, which lead to your Google My Business profile being the top of Google Maps for free.
I love what you're saying. This is money. Like, I know we're always talking about on the podcast, like marketing and equipment, but guys, this is the X and O's to grow a real business. I'm doing this every single day. Like, of all the spinning plates that we all have going on, this is something that we actively need to do to make sure that our company is and looks as successful as possible with our public image, with our public business card. And I love what you said. Like, the stuff lately with my brother with Branded Bull, I think there's been 42 or 44 of you guys already that have reached out for websites, and about a dozen have already committed. I'm telling you, like, quality website, quality Google My Business listing page, which are free. If that's a public service, like with Google, anybody can sign up. It takes a few minutes to learn how to verify it. It's pretty simple to do, but start pumping out those reviews. It is very, very important. And I love what you said about the one-time services. I never really connected the dots and considered that, but I mean, that's low-hanging fruit. I mean, if somebody who has I don't know, some lady just gave birth to their kid, they need you to cut the lawn for 6 weeks until they can just kind of get their ducks in a row. Typically, you guys are like, I want full-time seasonal clients or bust. I'm in the same boat. I want a regular recurring customer, but we'll do the one-off once in a while. And it's okay to say like, hey, obviously this was a special, situation, a one-time mow, a one-time snow plow, a one-time leaf job. If you don't mind, at the end of the whole transaction, like you said, don't spring it on them, but just say like from the beginning, but at the end say, hey, if you really enjoyed this, could you leave us a 5-star review? We really appreciate that. That is huge because you have 80 regular customers or 50 regular customers or 20 regular customers, but we all do 20, 50, 80 one-off jobs during the year, right? So now you've doubled your opportunity for those reviews. Instead of just waiting at the end of the year for your regular 50 or 100 customers to give you that review, think of all the one-time mulch jobs, the one-time pruning jobs, the one-time snow plowing jobs, the one-time leaf cleanup jobs that we do. Like we have about 90, 95 accounts that we do weekly, but we've probably done work for 200, 300, 400 people throughout the season with aerations and dethatchings, right, guys? So that's actually really, really, really interesting because now I'm thinking to myself, I was just going to go hit up my 85, residentials that we just did. But I know there's 3 dozen aerations, a dozen dethatching jobs. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought. Ezra, you're on it, bro. You're making me get all fired up this morning. So,
hey, it excites me because, like I said, I've received so many, and in this spring there was another local guy here that I had, which, like I said, I'm not trying to do something huge, and that way, if you have the right customers coming in, I pre-qualify, and what I mean by that is there's a list of questions that I'll ask them before I ever even go get an estimate. That if they're not in a tight radius, literally which it's nice. I live kind of in the middle of town. And so basically 5 minutes, max 10 minutes, basically any direction is as far as I'll go because that's as far as I need. But because I have the leads coming in, I'm able to filter them that way. So I'll ask what they need. And then if it's not the right fit, there's another local guy that started that I was able to pass those leads on. So I'm not upsetting them saying, I just don't have work or don't have time, click. I'm able to say, hey, we're unable to help you, but there's another person over here who is. So I'm helping solve their problem and trying to be a blessing to this other contractor who's, just getting started. And having the leads coming in because of the reviews enables you to do that. So then you're not picking up all kinds of random work.
I love it. And one other thing, I'll quick story while you were talking that made me think about was I had reached out to a law firm. I think it was, I don't know if it was this summer or last summer. Like, dude, life just is moving pretty quick, and I'm trying to capture every single moment. But especially with my baby, but she's growing like crazy, and time is flying. Life is just fast. I feel like it gets faster the older you get. But I had reached out to a lawyer. I think it was this summer, and I had a question, and they didn't know like who to reach out to, so I called some big firm. And they had 350 plus 5-star reviews. I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, big outfit in town, big outfit. I needed some manpower for something that was coming up, and I wanted big, bad, burly, the best, right? I didn't care. So I called up the people. You get filtered to somebody who gets filtered to somebody, then you actually get to talk to somebody. Great system to weed out the crap. And so I got on the phone with this dude. Long story short, explained what was going on. And so he was actually able to give me a free 15-minute consultation. This was last summer, now that I think about it. He was like, basically, long story short, I didn't really have a case for what was going on. Just life, things are going on. But I said, okay, no problem. I said, I super, super appreciate the 15 minutes. And I was ready to go to guns and, invest and, pursue this whole matter that I was trying to deal with. And, but it just didn't have merit, right? Long story short. And, So I got to the bottom of it with this guy's help, and he just really helped me connect a bunch of dots and just gave me his kind of professional legal advice on this free consultation. Well, I get done, and I'm like, with my question, and I was like, let's say his name was Tom. Tom, super appreciate your help. Thank you so much. I said, if I ever have an issue in the future, I'll definitely reach out to you guys and try to have that relationship with you guys. But thank you so much for the help. And you could tell, like, dude, he like served. You could tell he wasn't holding back. He was getting thick into it, specifics, breaking things down, not talking over my head, really just giving me context, giving me the lay of the land. And dude, like, literally solved all my problems, all my questions in 30 seconds or 15 minutes or less, right? Well, at the end, he goes, hey, sorry we weren't able to take you on as a client. Keep me posted on this matter. If things change, that could change the dynamics of the potential case. So maybe one day. But he goes, so always, he goes, we'd love to be a resource for you. He goes, sorry we weren't able to take you on as a client. But he goes, of course, keep in touch. He goes, hey, Brian, one thing that even though we can't take you on as a client, and we weren't able to serve you further, would you mind doing me a solid? If you felt like this 15 minutes was helpful for you and we were able to solve at least one or two of your questions, would you mind passing out that info, or what do you say? Like, would you mind spreading the good news that we're here helping people in the community, and leaving us a 5-star review? And he said, he goes, something like, we live and die on our reviews. You as a small business owner, Brian, you probably get that with your lawn care company. If you could take 2 minutes after to leave us a 5-star review, letting you know that the consultation was really, really helpful for you, even though you weren't able to, be a client of ours. We would really appreciate that. And I was like, dude, for sure. I was like, Tom Jones. I was like, Mr. Jones, I'd be happy to. Like, you served me, you helped me, you took care of me. I wasn't even giving this guy my money, as a customer client. So I go and he sent me like a text message right after with their automated system, and it said, like, thank you for your time. Please leave us a 5-star review. We would greatly appreciate it. I mean, I got off the phone. He had to have clicked something on his computer to close the case, whatever you call it, right? The inquiry. And I got that follow-up message. He had a great system, right? We're always talking systems on the podcast. And long story short, I was able to leave a 5-star review. And then it got me thinking, bro, this guy's got 350 to 400 5-star reviews. Like, think about it. It wasn't just because they had 350 like successful clients. It was, I don't know, 100 of them were probably consults that never really turned into clients because they didn't have a case, but still left good 5-star reviews. And not that I was like duped or anything, you guys know what I'm saying, but it was like, hey, they had a couple hundred good accounts from good cases and then a couple hundred consultation calls with just good will in the community. So I'm telling you, it's not awkward. It's not weird to ask for reviews. Everybody gets it these days. And I think we should all be doing a lot more of it. So Ezra, I'm going to kick it back to you, man. Any thoughts or feedbacks on that? Because you have 80 in 2 years. That's awesome.
I'll just tell you another story along that. I answered the call. This was through a painting, but the same deal. I answered the call. The lady was looking for some popcorn ceiling removal, and that's not something I do. And so I was just kind to her and told her, that's not something we do. But I saw she had an out-of-state number, so I asked her about it, and I was just friendly to her. I unfortunately couldn't help her, but she got off the phone. She was so happy with our interaction. The fact that I answered the phone, that I was kind to her, that she left a review, and I didn't even ask for it, but just putting the time in to just be kind to her. And I know sometimes if you're on the mower, you can't always answer the phone, but when you do, there's something about just being kind and doing your best, and even that sometimes just makes a difference and goes a long way.
I love it.
They're important.
And that's the thing too. We're not talking about going out and physically doing more than you guys already have to get these reviews. We've already done the work. We've already made those customers happy. Ideally, we've already been there, done that. And I love what you said. Like, best case scenario, something moving forward. Let's all keep it in the top of our mind to get those 5-star reviews when we're done with a job or help the client out or performed a one-off service. You know what? It's still perfect time, in my opinion. This is what I'm doing at the end of the season for your regular clients that you've done work for the year. we're less than a week or two out from the mowing, and still hopefully have those warm, fuzzy feelings that it was a successful season for the client, and they've been happy with the services. I think we've got a great window here between now and the end of the year to capitalize and haul in that harvest of 5-star reviews. I think if you wait January 1 forward, it's going to be really hard to get reviews from the past because people are going to start be thinking about, service for the future. So I do think there's a shelf life on getting those reviews. In those one-off services, it's probably a week. And for your annual services, it's probably the 6 weeks, 8 weeks after the season's done if you didn't get, capture some of those mid-season like Ezra was sharing. So I love it. Ezra, I'm going to probably button it up right here. I got another podcast to kind of transition to, my friend, but I'm going to give you the last thought and last word of the day, man. Anything else you want to leave these guys while we got you? And dude, super appreciate your feedback and help with Google reviews today.
No problem. No, I just reiterate your thought. It's not. I wasn't trying to say it's too late to do it now. Do it now, but in the future, just keep that in the back of your mind, top of mind, and it'll pay off if you work at it.
Dude, that's awesome. No, I love it, man. This is lighting a fire under me to. It's ironic that I was going to be doing these this afternoon after a couple podcasts I'm batching out this morning, and so I'm glad that I talked to the man before I went out there and just messed a bunch of the stuff up. You know what I mean? So, so I appreciate your help. Where can people find you, man, if they want to catch up with you on all things, Ezra and Maple? Is it Maple Leaf Mowing? Right? Is that the name of your company?
Yep. Well, the best way if you want to check me out is just basically search Maple Leaf Mowing in Greenville, Texas. That's about where you'll find me. I
love it, man. And if you guys are looking on Google, make sure you guys check out his 80 plus 5-star reviews at the time of this recording. And by the time we get into spring next year, I'm sure he'll be knocking the door at 100. So awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for the help. I think this is a really value-packed episode. If you guys enjoyed the show, hey, do us a solid. Leave us a 5-star rating and review of all topics that can relate to the podcast. We really do appreciate you guys rating the show. It really helps podcasts, long story short, to help with the algorithm, to get them suggested, to get them surfaced, and to offer that social proof to maybe another lawn bro or lawn girl that's out there in the blogosphere and wants to fill their head with some good stuff during the day while they're out in the mowers or out plowing snow. So, guys, super appreciate the love and the support, and that's what we got for today's show. Guys, we do a podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so make sure you guys check back soon for another podcast episode, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
Ready to invest in your business to make it even more successful in the year ahead? Then check out all of the programs, courses, and resources at launchpreneuracademy.com and save 25% with the coupon HOLIDAYS. Now, the code to save $400 on what we call the whole ball of wax is SAVE400. Those codes are in the show notes and are good right on through the end of Cyber Monday at midnight. Thanks again for listening. Thank you for supporting all that Brian does for our community through your purchases at launchpreneuracademy.com, and have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you back on Monday for another edition of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.